Of a quote some time back from a great English statesman. He says, "Out of deep, dark bondage arises great faith. And that faith leads to great courage. And courage leads ultimately to freedom. And freedom leads to abundance. And abundance leads to apathy. And apathy leads to dependence. And dependence leads back to bondage." And that has been the litany so often of great countries down through the ages, Mr. Speaker. And I would just suggest to you tonight that there is a solution to breaking that pattern, and that is for us to hold, as we are trying to do this evening, to the great foundations of religious freedom.
Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. This right includes freedom to change his religion or belief, and freedom, either alone or in community with others, and in public or private, to manifest his religion or belief in teaching, practice, worship, and observance. Now, these are clear and straightforward principles that bring people together in both heartfelt unity and furious disagreement.
Okay, if you're talking about the separation of church and state, I believe that that's really been misinterpreted. I believe the Founding Fathers, when they brought that up, simply meant that the state or the government was to stay out of religion and not try to control religion and stop the freedom of stop religious freedom. In other words, I believe in the old countries there were state religions and they were run by the state. That's certainly not what we want in this country. So, separation of church and state, I believe if you take the original interpretation of that, where the state is to stay out of the church's business, I believe that that's the way that it should be. And we should have the freedom of religion in this country.
They permit prayer in the legislative branch of government. Why have they removed prayer from our schools? As long as there are final exams, there will always be prayers in our schools. It demonstrates the fact that even in a secular environment, the spiritual is often present.
Well, I guess, number one, you can't force religion. As far as schools are concerned, I believe the liberty for people to speak up about their religion. I feel that they should have the freedom to share their religion. If they want to have a Bible club, if they want to pray, I don't think you should force prayer in school, but allow the students, if they want to pray, they can pray. I believe that that's acceptable. As long as there's a freedom of speech, I believe that religion is fine in the schools. It doesn't have to be taught. I don't think schools is a place to teach religion, but it's certainly a place where people can share their beliefs.
Schools.
I believe that religion should be allowed in the schools. Again, I think it's a freedom of speech.
I feel that religious clubs, along with any type of religious prayer, could be allowed in school as long as it is student. I feel that that law in itself could go in a lot of different, there could be a lot of different arguments between the positive and the negative for that law. In my position, and with working with students, I feel it's appropriate to let them express their religious beliefs and if it's helpful and useful to them. Teaching religion, teaching the history of it, I think is very helpful, and I think it's a very positive part of an academic environment.